Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for GoGo Shopaway using the Jen Hadfield Stardust collection. It's a really pretty collection full of lovely colours. I'm not I don't always love Jen Hadfield collections. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't dislike them, they're just not one that I necessarily reach for. But this one I loved. It just had lovely bright colours and was really fun to use. So you can see that I've already torn across the section of that stripy paper there. It was one of my favourite papers from this collection. And I'm just doing a bit of photo prep. Basically, one of my photos was damaged, so I had to chop the bottom off, which meant that it didn't have a border along the bottom. It was fine to make it square, but it didn't have a border along the bottom, so I just trimmed all three of my photos to the same size, trimmed off all the white borders, and then I mounted them all onto black paper, just so they all looked the same. And I didn't have different ones at different heights or different types of borders and that kind of thing. So I've just had to do a bit of photo prep to make them the same. I could have reprinted the photo, but waste not, want not. I just thought I had it. It was the main part of the photo was fine, so I thought I would use it. So there you go. You can see my photos there, although I've decided that I need a white border on the photos as well. So basically I would normally print my photos with a white border, and then I would mount the photos with the white border onto the pattern paper. But because I'd lost all the white borders, because I had to trim them off because I trimmed them down, I wasn't happy with how they looked. So just a quick fix, bit of white card behind them. Each one is mounted onto white card, which is then mounted onto pattern paper. Perfect. I've now got perfectly printed photos with white borders, but they're just makeshift ones as opposed to how they were originally printed. So there we go. I've got my three photos prepped now, all mounted with white borders and onto pattern paper, and edges distressed. Now I am going to prepare the top of my layout. I've already torn off this big section. Basically, I use the other section for something else, and this top bit was what I was left with. So I decided to trim one of those stripes apart, distress the edges and stick them back onto the layout, of course. From the remaining parts of the paper, I'd already used a load of it for something else, but I still had small amounts left. So from that I cut a load of leaves with a metal die, and basically I'm going to arrange those in the same colours. I was planning to arrange them all like cascading down from the stripes, but I couldn't make it work, so I therefore arranged them around my photos. I've also popped in place my title, which is Unforgettable, which is a Bramble Fox title, and that's perfect colour tones to sit over on the left side of the layout, over on the green section. So that's perfect. And now I'm just adding some other, I've got all my photos stuck down, by the way, and all my leaves are stuck in place. So now I'm just going to add in all the other embellishments from the Jen Hadfield Stardust collection. So I've got the ephemera, I've got the stickers, I've got the little tiny enamel dots, and I've got the sticker book too. So I'm just adding, putting out bits and pieces from there that I think will work and I think will look good. That little cat in sunglasses I think is super cute. My husband is wearing his sunglasses upside down in one of the photos, and my little boy has his sunglasses on his head in the other photo. So anything with sunglasses on was perfect. And I've got a butterfly, I've got a rainbow, I've got the tag that says love, and that's on a black background. I love that. I love having black. It has such an impact on a layout that's very colourful, and having black then just adds kind of, I say drama. It adds impact for sure. Loving that dramatic effect by having the black love tag in place. I'm also going to follow that through a little bit with these paper strips as well. They look like journaling strips, but I can't write on them because they're too dark and they're patterns. So I could stick some white pieces, some narrower white strips over the top for my journaling, or I could just leave them as they are and have them as a design feature. I'm just adding some black thread to the little love tag. That's just embroidery thread. I've just tied that through and tied it in a bow. I normally put a little bit of glossy accents or something on the middle of the knot. There we go, I'm doing it now, I think, so that it doesn't come undone. Quite often do the same with the ends of the threads so that they don't unravel, because embroidery threads are made of 6 strands, aren't they? So sometimes they can unravel and not look so good. They can kind of fray. So I normally do that as well with some glue, just to make sure they don't fray and don't go anywhere. I do the same with ribbon too. So that's all kind of coming together. I'm just still picking out bits and pieces that I think might work on the layout. Just having fun really, going through the ephemera and working out what I think would work. Of course, I'm already partway through the layout, so anything big isn't going to work at this stage. Like that tag, it's just not really going to work at this point. If I was going to use that, I probably should have started with it. Thinking about it going up there at the moment, but then it takes all the colours. I've got everything in colour sections, so to then go and add a whole different block of colours over on the right hand side doesn't really work too well with my whole colour on colour thing. So I'm still not sure about it. I'm even going as far as distressing the edges. Is it going to end up there? I'm not sure. I can't remember if it ends up there or not. I haven't got the layout in front of me. But it's a bit of a risk if I do put it up there, I say, because it doesn't go with my colours. But it is the same colour rainbow, so it does work. It does kind of work. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if I've taken the thread out of it. Trying it in different places, still not happy. Don't think it ends up on the layout at all. I think it gets discarded. Have to get used on something else instead, because it's a lovely tag. Right, so what am I doing now? Adding a few little enamel dots. They're tiny, those enamel dots, very cute shapes. You've got hearts and hearts and stars, as well as dots as well, I think, maybe. I can't quite remember, but different shapes anyway, and they're really lovely. They're very tiny. You get 2 sheets in a pack, so they're quite good value, and they go really far because there's loads of them, because they're tiny. So I've got those in clusters in various points, and still adding stickers and things from the sticker book and from the sticker sheet, and I'm raising most of them up on foam pads and distressing the edges where I can too, because I like doing things like that. Gives me I love a bit of dimension. Now I've just spread out those journaling strips a little bit, and instead of adding white strips across the middles, which is something I had considered doing, I've written my journaling in between the gaps, so that works well. I've used them as kind of like lines, so that works really, really well. So I'm just going to finish off now with a few splatters of white paint. I'm shaking directly from my shaker tube. It's lots of people ask me about them. It's Liquitex acrylic paint marker, and it's the wide nib, and you just activate it by kind of pumping it, and then you can shake it directly from there. Otherwise, I use it to put some onto my craft sheet, and then I use a paintbrush like I'm doing right now to add splatters that way. And I just find it's the perfect consistency for shaking or splatters, because it's not thick acrylic paint, it's slightly watered down, and it works really well. So there we go, that is the end of that layout. It's all finished. Added a load of sequins as well, lots of little bits and pieces on this layout, some more Bramble Fox perspectives there, the star, and that's me done. I hope you enjoyed seeing it come together. Thank you so very much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for GoGo Shopaway using the Jen Hadfield Stardust collection.